What's the stupidest thing you've heard a person say aloud in public? I've probably heard worse at some point, but I remember sitting in a Starbucks on campus, and this girl was telling this guy about her trip to Italy, and at one point the guy goes, "So where do you want to go next?" And she says, "I've never been to Europe before, so hopefully that." I'd be really interested to see this person draw the world map. A bit late to the party, but I heard a woman explain to another woman how planes don't actually fly from America to Europe. They just hang in the sky motionless while the Earth moves below them. Until Europe appears and then they land. Okay, yeah, they're gonna have to fly pretty high to make that work. In fact, I'm not even 100% sure that this is physically possible. Since when has anyone died from getting stabbed? Well, I mean, maybe some of the first humans might have figured that out. Breastfeeding is unnatural. From a girl in my year 11 health class. Unnatural, huh? Then what exactly are breasts for, then? Because I was under the assumption that that was kind of their whole purpose. Coworker at my old job, while we were setting up for Black Friday. It's pretty crazy that Black Friday actually falls on a Friday this year. Yes, well, sometimes the calendar gods bless us with these nice coincidences. I heard two girls talking about baking, when one said she wanted to try baking a bread at home, but she didn't know how to make the crust of the bread. She also said that she was thinking about baking the crust only because she liked it more than the rest of the bread. She truly thought the crust was made separately. I think most people think the crust is the worst part, but I mean, what if you actually just wanted to eat as much crust as possible? So you'd bake a loaf of bread, you just pick off the whole outside, you just peel the bread, and then you just put it back in the oven and create more crust. Chickens are not animals, they poop eggs. Said a friend who was trying to explain how she can eat poultry and be vegan at the same time. See, I don't understand why people have to adopt this full-sized diet. They either have to be full vegan or vegetarian, or absolutely nothing else. Like, they can't just identify individual things that they want to eat or not eat. Everything only comes in package deals, I guess. I got 400 days absence in a year, but I still passed. A high school friend dropped this when we were measuring dicks on how we got away with things. So let's see, there are 365 days in a year, and only about 180 of those are school days. And he missed 400 of those 180. So maybe like half of those were just Groundhog Days. Does an egg get boiled before or after it comes out of the chicken? Yeah, I'd like to see the market on chickens that come with pre-hard-boiled eggs. Whilst in Thailand, I had someone say, "I don't like it, there's just too many Asians here." Hey, that kind of reminds me of all the people that live in the US that just complain that there's too many white people. If only there were other places in the world, if demographics were really your biggest priority. Where are your extra medium dog sweaters? Extra medium, huh? So does that go smaller or bigger? Earth is flat because if it would be round, then it would bounce. Well, I guess we've never really run into anything big enough for us to bounce off of, so maybe we don't know. However, if the Earth is flat, then how do you explain mountains? Question. A recent poll shows that 1/5 of Americans can't locate the US on a world map. Why do you think this is? Answer. I personally believe that US Americans are unable to do so because some people out there in our nation don't have maps. And I believe that our education, such as in South Africa, and the Iraq everywhere, such as, and I believe they should, our education over here, and the US should help the US, and should help South Africa, and should help the Iraq and the Asian countries so we are able to build up our future. Ah, Miss South Carolina, you're an inspiration to us all. I went to college in a small town, and every Thursday they would have a mobile DMV. When I had to get my license renewed, they were having trouble with the internet. The woman in charge instructed the other woman working there to shake out all the wires because sometimes the information gets clogged up in them. Yeah, don't you hate when those wires get kinked and you just have tons of gigabytes just bulging in those wires? When I worked at an aquarium, I overheard an American tourist say, "Wow, these penguins look just like birds." Well, they still need to pass their flying test if they want to be called real birds. While driving around Mexico City, person one says, "Wow, Mexico City is huge." I say, "Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest cities in the world." Then an American girl says, "Nuh-uh, Texas is." Well, to be fair, if Texas was one big city, it would be the biggest one in the world. Sitting around a bonfire, I can already feel how I'm getting a tan. If you're sitting close enough to a bonfire to where it is actually cooking your skin, you might need to back up. I grew up on a cattle farm. A woman about 15 years older than me, I was 16, asked me, "After you cut off the meat from the cow, how long until it grows back so you can cut more?" I wish so badly that she was messing with me. She was not. Man, between cows that regrow meat and chickens that poop out hard-boiled eggs, I don't know what is more promising for our future genetically engineered farming. To be fair, she was only 11. When my best friend and I were mucking around with our neighbor that we had taken out for ice cream, my best friend was trying to put her spoon in the 11-year-old's ice cream, to which the 11-year-old responds, "Stop being such a pedophile, ha ha ha." Needless to say, we were both like, what? The 11-year-old then explained that kids at school told her that a pedophile was an annoying person. We told her to never again say that word, and later advised her mom that there was a conversation the two of them needed to have. Well, pedophiles are pretty annoying, but I think it's pretty acceptable to use stronger language towards them. I saw Avatar in the theater, and as everyone was walking out, a random lady we passed said, out loud and very seriously, "I wish real life was in 3D. Never have I laughed so hard inside." Hey, you don't understand, some people have a condition where they're trapped in 2 dimensions for their whole life. I'm an ER nurse, so I ask a lot about medical history and current meds. I say, what medical problem do you have? The patient says, none. I say, do you take any prescription or over-the-counter meds on a daily basis? Yes, my blood pressure pill and Lasix. So you have high blood pressure and heart failure? Says, no, I don't. I say, so what are the medications for? Says, my blood pressure and heart failure. Duh. Yeah, I guess if you're taking the medication, that is preventing the thing from happening, so is it really a condition then? During a power cut, I lost faith in my entire family. So my 8-year-old says, Dad, can I watch TV? I say, the power's out. My wife says, but you could use the laptop to watch Netflix until the battery goes. I say, darling, the power is out. Says, that's why he uses the laptop. I say, but we have no internet while the power is out. Says, the internet comes over cable, not the power lines. I say, the modem that brings us internet is plugged into the wall outlet, the powerless wall outlet. Because there's no power, because the power's out, we have no internet. Says, well, try plugging it into a different wall outlet. That's when I just went upstairs. Yeah, whenever the power goes out, I usually just try every single power outlet in the house, just in case. My friend, who was a senior in high school, thought senior discounts would apply to him. It led to an incredibly awkward back and forth between a Taco Bell worker. Yes, that discount is made specifically for people ages 65 and up, but also 17 and 18-year-olds. What are you talking about? Bread doesn't go bad. From my roommate getting ready to make a sandwich with a green and purple 3-month-old loaf of bread. Yeah, I used to like buying rolls and just keeping them in my room and snacking on them sometimes. Until one time I took a bite and it tasted a bit sour. And then I looked at the bottom and it was all black. And I basically didn't eat rolls again for a long time after that. 2 little boys playing outside. One says to the other, I'm gonna kill you. The mother yells back, if I ever hear you say something like that again, I'm gonna break your neck. The irony was completely lost on her. Wonder where the kids got it from. Yeah, maybe some parents are just like, please don't grow up to be like me. I live in Niagara Falls, Canada. I worked in a clothing store inside a casino, so we had lots of tourists come in and ask questions about the falls. On several occasions, I was asked what time the falls are turned off for the night. I was also asked what time they roll up the sidewalks. Like, roll them up and put them away for the night, once. There are also lights projected on the falls that make them look colorful, and someone asked me if the color they put in the water is bad for the ecosystem. So you know how if somebody gets a ticket while on the road, they've got to go back to driving school in some cases? You know, maybe if some people ask questions like this, they should get a ticket and have to go back to just some kind of regular school. I used to be a greeter at a very large and famous museum that was well known for its architecture. People would reach the top of the museum after exiting the tram. A dead giveaway of where that is, but I digress. My number one question from visitors was where the bathroom was, to the point that it automatically became part of my welcome speech. To my surprise, I got a set of young girls who announced to me that they were taking an architecture course in college, and were wondering if I would help. Being so happy to get a smart question, I happily obliged. Where's the architecture? They asked. I was so dumbfounded that I managed to squeeze out that they were standing in it. I think they missed the first lecture that day. Yeah, so I'm majoring in architecture. I'm not sure what architecture is yet, but I'm pretty sure this museum will tell me. My family overheard these 2 guys outside the airport once. Says, hey, we should get a cab. Says, alright, I'll check with that one. Stay with our bags. Yeah, this guy says it's $25. Then the other guy says, but is it free? Says, no, it's $25. But is it free? Says, no, it's $25. I don't know if they ever got in the cab, or if it was free. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure most flights do not comp your taxi rides after you arrive. Me saying, you too, to a waiter who told me to enjoy my meal. See, I don't understand why people get so embarrassed whenever they make this mistake. Like, I do it on purpose just to be funny. It really works the best when you're leaving a restaurant and they say, hey, thanks for coming in, and you say, you too. Because then it kind of makes sense. If I'm not allowed to drive there, then why is there a left side of the road? This acquaintance of mine was outraged that she had to appear in court for a driving citation that she didn't think she deserved. Yeah, that forbidden left side of the road can get really tricky. Every time you turn around, it seems to move. When I was a kid, I asked my dad, what is a drazer? See, in elementary school, fundraisers always emphasize the word fun, so I thought it was 2 words. Turns out it isn't. Yeah, unfortunately, not all drazers are very fun. I helped someone with their password. Told them they needed to put in capitals, lowercase, etc. They say, how do you capitalize numbers? There's really no way to salvage that conversation. Capital numbers, that's just Roman numerals. I noticed that gas prices were going up rapidly, and so I told my girlfriend that she should go ahead and fill up her tank because she would get more fuel for her money than if she waited a couple days. Her reply was, oh, is that because of the power of the gasoline? I still don't know what she meant by that. Yes, all gasoline has its power drained over time. You gotta use it as soon as you get it. I work in customer service. This man kept trying to fax us documents. He was originally going to mail them. He sent them several times, and every time I would tell him that the only thing I can see is the envelope. Finally, after the nth time, he screams, the papers are in the freaking envelope. What do you want from me? I had to explain that it's not how faxes work. Hey, that'd be a pretty awesome fax machine if it's actually just a teleportation thing. You just send in an envelope and it just appears there. Are swords real? I've only seen them in movies. From a girl I went to high school with. Her boyfriend also completely convinced her that Saturn was made from recycled, melted down Legos in grade 11. Okay, as far as just outlandish, random, just not real knowledge, that probably takes the cake. But that's all for Volume 10 of Stupidest Things People Say. Final one of the year, I guess. So hopefully you've been enjoying these. I'm always happy when we see different responses, so I think these are pretty good.